good evening. This is Dennis Wong, clinical consultant pharmacist and wellness coach from Sin Nutrition and Sin Pharmacy in Winnipeg. Today, I'm joined by a couple of my colleagues and good friend, special guest Willard Reeve, the Blue Bomber Hall of Famer, and Mr. Non Dupas, the marketing and business coach. Welcome, gentlemen.
Well, see you, Dennis.
Hi, Dennis. How are you?
I am good, thank you. We're
Excellent.
gonna be talking about interesting stuff, because lately people's been asking me, okay, how come I'm gaining weight? I'm not, eating much, etc. And so, among us, we talked about it and we said, okay, let's see what we can talk about it. And so tonight topic's gonna be, we're gonna talk about sugar.
Yeah.
The bitter truth about sugar.
Absolutely, yeah.
The sweet stuff that is really not good for
Yeah.
you.
Well, the interesting thing is, a few years back, I was told by some of my mentor that they found a research saying that sugar is actually more addictive than heroin, believe it or not.
I heard that before.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and I was mentioning that at the dinner table tonight, and my brother-in-law said, yeah, it's legal too.
Yeah.
So,
No, I think it's terrific. It's a topic we always talk about, right? Willard and Dennis, I know we're always talking about health and that. And one of the things we came up with last time was looking at what the effect of what sugar is. I mean, it's virtually in almost everything we eat. It's in stuff that we don't think is in. And once we start digging in a little bit more, we understand that, wow, this stuff is everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So we thought just diving in a little bit, because there's some misconceptions and some people trying to justify eating certain foods that they think are healthy. So it'd be good to just look at that and look at understanding what's the health impact of eating sugar too, or too much sugar, right?
I agree.
Sugar, refined sugars, all those sort of sugars.
Yeah. So I mean, we always thought that, oh, this is good because sugar gives us energy, right? We want to take as much as we can, so we're gonna have a lot big energy. But you know what? You look at it now that I look back at it, based on what we're going to be talking about tonight, didn't give me a lot of energy. I mean, I started slowing down actually. So this is going to be a very good topic to talk about. Extremely well. Yes.
Definitely, and it could be a very complex topic. I don't think we're going to get into all the nitty gritty of the details, but I thought, Dennis, if you wanted to start maybe by telling us a little bit about. So we call it sugar, but there's a lot of different types of sugar, right? So you want to give that little bit of a breakdown of how sugar is and the breakdown and what types of sugar there are.
Absolutely. So to start with, basic table sugar, like the white table sugar that we use, it's actually, from the chemical point of view, it's sucrose. And when we consume it, our body break it down to two different sugar. One is fructose, one is glucose. And we all know that glucose is major energy source for our body. So people say glucose good. Yeah. If you have, amount that your body need. If you have more than what your body need, that's when the problem is. And then the other thing is fructose. And when we talk about fructose, there's now people are making, these high fructose corn syrup and inverted sugar. All of them are artificially created fructose type sugar. And when our body consume get the fructose, it does not create the insulin response. Glucose does. When glucose come in, glucose level go up in our blood level, then our pancreas make insulin to push that into muscle, and the muscle will burn it. And, if not, then excessive whatever extra glucose and insulin turn it into fat as energy storage. Fructose, on the other hand, does not create the insulin response. So just go straight through and go to the liver, and liver then actually turn the fructose to fat as an energy storage. So, people may say, okay, fructose is bad. Again, it's how much you eat, because all the sugar from a fruit and vegetables are fructose. So, we can say
Okay.
that, oh, fructose is bad or sugar is bad, but amount that we're consuming is where the danger comes from.
Yeah,
Ah,
absolutely.
okay. So explain to us the impact of the sugar, okay, on our health and why it's considered a bitter truth.
Absolutely. Like I said, the amount is the key to it. And I've looked through some of, because when I was training way back when 2006, 2007, we said, okay, what is the, average amount of sugar that our body need daily? And when we said that, that means that from everything, the food, the dessert, all of that, and extra sugar that we put into our coffee, etc., all totally included. And it it was kind of, according to American Heart Association, like FDA did not want to come out with it, and I did not see much on Health Canada. But according to American Heart Association, they said average 10 to 12 teaspoon of sugar max is what our body need totally. And they break it down a little bit that for female, they need about 6 to 7 teaspoon, which is a teaspoon is about 4 to 5 gram. So for female, they said 6 to 7 teaspoon, but for male, we have more muscle and we can burn more energy and sugar, glucose, so we can have about 9 teaspoon a day. That's 45 gram.
Oh, okay. So what about an athlete getting ready
For
for
athletes, so like
yeah,
when I work with the athletes and when we talk about, then I'm going to go into a little bit of the calorie side. For
okay.
the athletes, when we do them, say menu plan, like for example, for you, based on your metabolic rate, you probably will be needing like about 2,200 calorie give and take, because we did the body composition. So I know
Yeah,
your metabolic rate. So
right.
with that, you're going to need about 2,200 calorie just now. But if you're going to go back into playing football like you used to, then you're going to need at least another 500 calorie, if not 1,000 calorie extra if you're playing professionally. But if you're just going to be going to gym 3 times a week,
Right.
3 to 500 extra. So absolutely, if you're exercising and stuff, you can have extra calorie, extra sugar. And what
Okay.
they said is 100 calorie is from about 6 to 7 teaspoon of sugar.
Okay. So I'm way under.
We'll come
Good.
to that,
Yeah.
because all the food, right? And because sugar is so addictive,
Okay.
a lot of company put the food, like a lot of sugar, into their food.
Okay.
Even bread and etc., pasta sauce, condiment, all of that are dressing. They trying to put sugar in there without you knowing it. So, like I said, they said converted sugar or corn syrup or all of these different labeling that they
Okay.
put in so that people use more. And yesterday, when I came home, I came downstairs into the fridge and I was trying to grab my kefir, because I have my kefir and kombucha in the downstairs basement fridge. So when I opened the fridge and as I'm grabbing the kefir, I saw another bottle, East Indian yogurt drink called lassi. And
Okay.
I'm sure you all know that.
Yes.
And it's mango lassi. I haven't had it for a while, and my sister's visiting me. So she went to East Indian store and she bought it. So I grabbed the jug and I was going to drink it. But then I read the label. I'm trained myself to read the label now. And I read the label, and a cup of 250 ml, a cup of latte has 70 gram of sugar.
Whoa.
That's five gram a teaspoon. And
That's
that means that I should not that I should not drink it, but I should not drink a cup, right? I should only be drinking, a quarter cup or something
mhm.
to based on the sugar. And that's the thing. Way back when, I think 2010, there was organic blueberry juice and organic raspberry juice and all of that. A lot of study came out saying they are antioxidant and anti-inflammation. So people were buying bottles and bottles of it and drinking it. And they're not actually getting anti-inflammation. They were actually gaining weight and causing more inflammation. And they get upset and they come and ask me why. And so I pulled the study. Studies are done with 2-ounce serving.
Yeah.
Oh,
People
wow.
are drinking 1 cup of it, and a cup of organic blueberry juice has about 50 gram of sugar.
Yeah, that brings up such a great point, because I remember when we had our children and we were looking at apple juice.
Yeah.
And thinking,
Yeah.
oh, it's from apples, it's great.
Yeah.
But maybe explain really what the difference is between eating an apple and then drinking juice.
Yeah. And I wanted to go back to Willard's question because I got to, all these amount of sugar, etc. So
Yeah.
what does really sugar do is that when glucose get into the bloodstream, and when glucose level increase in the bloodstream, our body make insulin to manage that and push that glucose into the muscle so the muscle can use it up and burn it. And however, when you got so much sugar from processed food and stuff, then the body will produce excessive amount of insulin to manage that. Guess what? Insulin is actually inflammatory hormone. When you have a lot of insulin, it causes more inflammation. And the problem is that in the blood vessel, we got so much insulin in there and creating inflammation, so our blood vessel will become inflamed. When the inflammation there in the blood vessel, that's where create the heart attack. People, say, oh, high cholesterol cause a heart attack. High cholesterol is byproduct. When you have a blood vessel inflamed, our body repair mechanism is that bring the cholesterol to protect the area so that there's a protective coat like a band-aid on it. And meanwhile, the whole immune system can come and clean up, repair all the inflammation and damage to clean it up. When the cell walls are, regenerated, then cholesterol gradually dissolve and removed, like Band-Aid got removed. That's the natural process. But when there's so much inflammation that repair cannot keep up with the damage, that's when cholesterol keep depositing, and that's where you got the blockage, that's where you got a heart attack and all of that. So, and the other part of it is that the fructose side, when the fructose get switched to fat in liver, when you have excessive fructose, like high fructose corn syrup and stuff, then that's where it's lead to these fatty liver disease that we all heard of. And that also lead to, weight gain, actually fat gain. And the interesting thing is fat cells are actually, we consider that's an endocrine cell. They produce estrogen and they produce inflammation chemical called cytokines. So now they're creating more inflammation in your whole system.
So is this what we see in diabetics?
Yeah, absolutely. That's where,
Okay.
people, because like I was again talking at the dinner table, a can of Coke is 40 gram of sugar.
Oh yeah, my wife just told me about my Pepsi intake.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. You have a bit of saving grace because you exercise so much and you have muscle and stuff, but still you gotta watch it
Yeah,
because not the not just like sugar cause inflammation and sugar cause insulin spike and all of that. That create the whole issue of inflammation and vessel damage and all of that. That's leading to the heart attack. That's leading to
okay.
fat gain and then diabetic condition. So,
And how does that progress? So how does that, the type 2 diabetic really, what does that look like? Like you're talking about the diabetes?
so when you got so much glucose and fructose in your system, one of the things that your kidney does is that trying to eliminate the excessive sugar from your system. Also, insulin's trying to push it into the cell, and kidneys trying to eliminate it. When you got so much insulin pushing and pushing and pushing, later on, muscle cell become resistant to insulin response. It's
Insulin.
like,
Oh, okay.
the same thing. You're sitting there and somebody keeps yelling at you or keep saying something, the same thing over and over and over and over and again. More than it's like, instead of saying to you once or twice for something that you should already understand and respond. If I sit there and keep telling you, will I eat, will I eat, will I eat,
Right.
you'll ignore me after a while. The same idea.
Insulin
Once the
resistant.
cells start
Okay.
ignoring the insulin and no longer responds to insulin, when insulin said, take the sugar in, and the cell side, forget it. I
Oh,
got so much
okay.
sugar, I can't. And so with that, now your sugar levels are high and cause more inflammation. Inflammation not just cause it have the issue with the blood vessel, but start damaging cell. Inflammation start damaging cell, and in the long run, it's damaged the optic nerve. That's where diabetic eye issue,
Yeah.
and start damaging the nerve cell and pain, whatever. That's why diabetic neuropathy, and then the whole kidney that's trying to push out the sugar until to the point that kidney no longer be able to handle properly, overwork, and then you start getting kidney damage. That's the progress of
Okay.
type 2 diabetic.
It's
Oh,
a cascade
wow.
of events.
Yes.
Jeez.
That,
That's
well, getting back to my question it was about the apple and the difference between apple and apple,
Right.
and apple juice, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And even when I work with a lot of my patients when they trying to lose weight, I tell them to watch out for the fruit. But when you look at it like Nam, you said apple and apple juice, I will tell people eat apple. The reason is that the sugar in the apple, the fructose, is more complex with the fiber and stuff. That the fiber slow down the absorption of the sugar. So
okay.
the body get gradual release of the sugar so that the body can use it up properly.
Yeah.
On the other hand, the juices and soda and stuff, you drink it, you don't get the slow down effect and sugar just go in. The other interesting thing is that I'm gonna geek out a little bit. In our stomach, when you eat food, geek out, yeah. In our stomach, when we eat food, there is two chemical. We call it hormones, hunger hormone and hormone that signal your brain that you're full. So ghrelin is the hunger hormone. Leptin is the one that signal that your brain that you're full. So when you do the chewing and swallowing, when you take time to eat, our stomach can produce a leptin properly compared to you eat fast.
Okay.
Because when your chew and swallow and the food hit the stomach, leptin start producing and go to the brain. The signal take about 20 minutes to get to the brain, telling your brain that you're full. to stop eating. And so if you eat really fast, you finish your meal in 5 minutes, you're going to overeat because your brain does not know that your stomach's full. That's literally no kidding. So I keep telling, and the funny thing was, the other thing is that when you take time to chew your food, I tell people you got to chew your food about 20 bites to 40 bites a mouthful, because that's the start of the digestion.
Right.
And that's tell your stomach also, tell your brain and stomach also that we need to prepare the food coming in. So we need to prepare and excrete digestive enzyme and stomach acid to start digesting, getting ready. But if you don't give that time and 5 minutes, everything's in your tummy, you don't have enough digestive enzyme and stomach acid to digest and extract the nutrients from the food either. So you're not really getting. So not getting enough nutrients make you more hungry also, so you can overeat.
Hmm.
And depend on what food you eat. If you use a lot of salad dressing, you eat a lot of bread, etc., then you're gonna be overloading amount of sugar that your body getting. On the other hand, the worst thing is that the drink is just liquid. So when you drink it, just go straight in fairly quickly. So there is no time for your brain and for your stomach to produce these hunger and full hormones,
Hmm.
and the brain to get the signal that you're full. Because also without the fiber and meat, protein, etc., the liquid doesn't make you feel full. So you're going to keep drinking, And so 1 can, 2 can. When I was in university, I've seen people that in lunchtime, they can drink 2 to 3 cans of Coke. That's 120 grams of sugar. That's a week worth of calories.
That is nuts. You know what? I'm I'm thinking when we're talking about the intake of food and stuff like that,
Yeah.
how do we reduce the sugar intake without sacrificing the taste? Because we love to eat, okay, and we love to taste what we're eating,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
and so how do we do that? Okay, if we have to watch the intake of our sugar
Yeah.
intake, but
Yeah.
making sure that we don't overdo it, but
Right.
sacrificing the taste,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, you can use lots of different spices, right?
yeah,
Instead, like you can use the sea salt sparingly, like not the table salt, sea salt. Sea salt, if you buy these color sea salt, there's a lot of minerals in there that our body actually use.
oh,
There's a physician that trained me, Dr. David Brownstein. He wrote the book called Salt. And if you have a chance, it's not a very thick book. It's very easy to read. Grab it, read it. He talked about regular table salt and actual sea salt and what sea
okay,
salt can do. And I've done it in some of my patients that, with the high blood pressure, doctor saying, oh, cut your salt, right?
mhm,
And I told them, go buy specific sea salt.
okay,
And the taste totally different. You don't need a lot of it, a lot richer because of the mineral. And in the long run, people with the high blood pressure, potentially, if you use the right amount and right sea salt, can reduce the blood pressure, believe it or not.
oh, wow,
And when I've learned that, I actually did a bit of the research on all these different salt company online. And I found one organic salt company, and I was quite excited, saying, hey, this is organic, salt company. And they were really putting all their process on their website. So I've read it. So they got this salt from Mediterranean Sea, which is one of the clean
right,
whatever area. And then they said they actually don't heat it. They actually use the sun to evaporate and all of that. And then when they get the sort of paste type of thing, then they move them into the manufacturing area and trying to then now make the sea salt. And so during the drying process, before they just dry it, they said they remove the impurity from the sea salt. And so after they moved the impurity, what they got is white fine sea salt, and they then dry it and bottle it. And then they were so good that, open book, they want to tell you everything. They said the impurity that we extracted out of that fine sea salt, we don't waste it. We sell that to vitamin companies and they make minerals and sell it.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm like, oh, exactly. That was my reaction. I'm like, okay, no. So white salt in the grocery store, they said sea salt, don't buy it. They started
Don't
with the
buy it.
sea salt, don't buy it. If it is white, don't buy it, because they
Okay.
started with the sea salt, but then they purified it. They took all the mineral out and then just selling you the sodium chloride.
Oh, okay.
So you have to buy the color sea
Is it
salt. So
pink? Pink
pink
color?
one or
Yes, the
gray
pink
one.
one.
Yeah,
Okay.
pink or gray one. Like I buy the Himalayan salt.
Oh,
And then there's something called Redmond real salt from Utah. It's actually red clay from Utah. And then there's another company from Mediterranean called Celtic Sea Salt. Their
okay.
salt is gray. So those are the three sea salt that I use myself.
Okay.
So that's one of the things that you can use the sea salt, actual sea salt. And then you can use like turmeric. You can use,
Oh, yeah, turmeric. Yes.
other like bay leaf. There's so many different spices that you can use. And if you choose to be so good, then you can buy actual
Mhm.
peppercorn and all of that, and you can grind it yourself, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or you can go to these store that specialize in spices and stuff. You can go
Mhm.
buy them. Like I actually end up using a fair bit of saffron. Even saffron's fairly expensive, but you don't need
Yeah.
a lot of it. Guess what? According to Dr. Daniel Amen research, saffron actually is good for your brain. Saffron's antidepressant. Saffron support the serotonin production and act like a serotonin.
Then you get those out of the spice stores?
Oh yeah, you can get either East Indian grocery store or
Yeah.
Chinese grocery store for sure. I got them, and like tiny bag is about $5 or something, but you only need like
Just a little bit.
just a
Pinch.
little bit of it,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
it gives you that flavor and scent. So there's many things that you can do. And the other thing, of course, is you have to try and cut, like, if you want to eat whatever, eat more fruit, absolutely. I will cut the processed food, because there's a lot of hidden sugar that we don't know that it's in there.
yeah.
And is there a major difference, getting back to the taste part, is there a major difference, I love pasta, right, between just a pure white pasta and a whole wheat, or even a whole wheat grain and a whole wheat bread, or white bread, or, the different types of flours that we can use?
At one point, I tried to avoid the white bread.
Oh,
Now I'm cheat a little bit. I read the label so much that I look at the fiber content. Doesn't matter white or whole wheat, how much fiber in it. I could be wrong, but from my understanding is that the more fiber it's in there, it's better. It slow down whatever sugar. And so I read how much sugar in the slice of bread and how much fiber.
Okay.
And I
Oh,
buy
okay.
the one that 1-to-1 or more fiber to sugar is how I buy it.
So
But
it doesn't
lately,
matter. Yeah. So it
it
doesn't matter
doesn't
the
matter,
color of bread.
because the way, even though there's a
Wow.
whole wheat bread, whatever, unless you're literally chewing the grain and stuff, like if you eating Ezekiel bread, which is, I'm gonna be honest, I can eat Ezekiel bread. Okay, I was trained throughout the year that if you want to eat bread, Ezekiel bread or sprouted grain bread is the best, because all the fibers, and sprouted grain, you got better nutrient, because sprouted stuffs are way better than regular grain. But I
Right.
can't eat it. I buy a loaf and it's it like so. I'm being honest. I'm being human.
It's
I'm a
different.
Right.
practitioner. but I don't pretend to be I'm super pure. Right? Nobody can be. And I'm straight. So
Yeah.
I will look at, and if I end up eating more bread, I will counter with more greens and vegetables.
Right.
Yeah.
So in our dinner
Wow.
table, our rule is that we always eat white rice because, we're Chinese and we grown up with it. So when we make rice now, we actually mix 1 cup of white rice with 1 cup of basmati rice because
Yep.
basmati
Oh.
rice a little bit more fiber,
Yeah.
a little more dense.
Yeah.
But depending on who you talk to, they're gonna go into glycemic index. They're gonna say it's not much different, but it does. And then our rule is that 1 dish of meat, 3 dishes of vegetables, and a rice. If we don't have 3 dishes of vegetables, we grumble.
Okay.
Oh. We grumble.
It's so important to read the food labels,
Food
right?
label, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
mentioning about the food labels itself there. So we have to be mindful now of the amount of sugar we're consuming on a daily basis. I mean, how would you navigate that? Right? Because we put like my wife, I always tell her, have some cereal with your sugar, right? Because she just packs it on, right? And I just look at her and just shake my head, right? And that's too much sugar, right? And
it's
keeps
it's
going.
because we are addicted to sugar. And
Yeah.
I myself, I will admit it, I'm a sugar junkie. I go to a restaurant, I may not finish my dinner, I have room for dessert. And that because you see the dessert and your brain's already going, dopamine's going, and you want it. So what you have to do is that replace like cereal with protein in the morning. So scrambled eggs, etc. And when I have really bad craving for bread and stuff, what I would do is I would make my own French toast.
Oh.
I
Oh.
will use almost 8 to 10 about 10 eggs.
Just to make a
And
couple of pieces of toast?
no, I wish.
For a few people.
And then for a few people, and then I'll make enough for 5 to 6 people.
Oh, okay.
And then I don't touch the syrup or maple syrup. We have like pure maple syrup, but I don't touch it. My teenager, they're growing, they can burn more, so they will use the maple syrup. Like I do have maple syrup at home, but I don't buy the cereal. Once in a while, they'll say, "Oh, can we have cereal?" We buy it.
Mm-hmm.
It just stay there. They don't eat it regularly. After they eat it a day, they can't stand it anymore.
Much sugar.
Too much sugar for them.
Yeah.
And it's just, you have to train your mind. It's not easy as, we get older to change things, but you can still do it. Just
Yes.
consciously. My 2 kids, since they were little, they never seen pop Coke can in our house.
Really?
They did not get any pop until they were after 10 years old, when they started going out and with a friend birthdays and stuff.
Yeah.
At home, they'll drink juice, but we would dilute it 1 part of juice to 5 part of water.
Oh.
And now when they do 50-50,
that goes back to the taste.
yeah, when they did 50-50, they themselves tell me that, oh, it's too sweet. And I learned that from Dr. Daniel Amen also. Apparently, his father used to own a candy store. So he himself is a sugar junkie. And so that's what he does, is that he will put a flavor drop into his water. And that's all he drank now. There's no sugar, just a flavor and scent.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so I'm like, okay, good. I'm on the right track with my kids. So now my kids are, 15 and 17. They know their limit. They know what they can drink, and they know how much sugar they can take and they cannot.
Yeah, you're bringing up a great point there, Dennis and Willard. So are there some sugar substitutes that are better than others? We hear a lot about, different sugar substitutes and all the rest of this stuff. But is there something more natural, something that you can put in to give a little bit more sweetness?
Absolutely. And there's a lot of artificial, like, I'm not trying to pick on Coke, but there's Coke Zero, Coke Sugar Free, Diet Coke, Diet Pepsi, all the diet stuff. When I graduated back in 90 and I was working in to become a CDA, which I didn't. I didn't have time to finish up the certification, but I was working with a lot of the diabetic patient. And every time we go for training, they tell us that tell your patient to drink Diet Coke and Diet Pepsi and Diet Soda because there's no sugar in it. Guess what? When the more you drink the diet stuff, these aspartame and etc. in there actually
yes.
cause more insulin resistant and more craving for sugar. And so people are not drinking the regular soda, but they're going to end up eating a lot more bread and pasta, etc., and processed food that they're getting all that sugar load from other food. Yeah, I'm drinking diet, but I'm craving for sugar, so I'm going to load up the carb.
Oh,
So you have to really watch. There is 2 natural sugar that so far studies are shown that it's good and okay. One is stevia. It's been on the market for a while, almost probably 15 years, if not longer. And a lot of the natural food people are using that now. And then the other one that lately came on the market within last 10 years is monk fruit.
Yeah.
what was
And
that again?
monk fruit, yeah, MONK
Monk.
fruit.
Monk. Oh,
Yeah, monk fruit, yeah.
oh. What?
And that is another natural sweetener that the industry is using now. Also, the wellness industry is using now. Some people will say you gotta watch for the monk fruit because it's only been 10 years of use. So so far they haven't found anything yet. But sometimes 10 years is not long enough in some of the researcher point of view. So everything is moderation.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
in our protein and greens, we use stevia.
Stevia.
Absolutely.
And there's talk about stevia. Norm and I had a discussion because a month or so ago, there's article come out saying that some of the stevia product, they put something called erythritol, which is another natural sugar and supposed to be safe, etc. But when you put so much into every food to save a little bit more money from using just stevia, what happened is that when you consume so much erythritol, there's potential of cardiovascular health issue. So I tell people that just use straight stevia. Don't even buy, like if you go to grocery store and stuff, they have these ready like packets that, single serving packets of stevia. And
Right.
everybody think, oh yeah, this is convenient. I can bring it with me. So when I go to restaurant and stuff or at the break, when I drink coffee, I don't put sugar, I put this. But other food manufacturers are putting that into their food also. So cumulative effect, if you get too much, we don't know how much is too much. That can give you heart attack. So
Oh, really?
yeah. Yeah. So everywhere you turn and there's issue. You have to be really careful. I'm not trying to scare people. Some people say, well, how do we live? Eat natural food.
Yeah.
Eat something that has no label, right? So meat from butcher shop, fruit and vegetable from, grocery store. They don't have the ingredient list, I should say, not label.
Right.
They don't have the ingredient list. Then that means that they have not put anything else in there apart from what, from the meat itself or from the, vegetables.
Oh.
Yeah. And I think that's, Willard, we it's such an important topic that if you try to tell people to just quit eating all sugar and quit, it's just not going to work.
No.
That's not going to happen. No.
It's not going to happen.
No.
And what happens is that we see this all the time, that people go on a diet, they try to lose weight, and then they yo-yo back. They end up gaining more weight than where they started. Dennis has taught me that it's about lifestyle changes.
Right.
And we do slow incremental lifestyle changes. If you just try one thing, for example, like Dennis was mentioning, chewing your food. We all know people that you turn around and you look and like the hamburger's gone and
Already
like,
gone.
what the heck happened
Exactly.
there? If you take time, Dr. Wilson's a friend of ours, and when you eat with him, it takes 6 hours, But it's like he chews his food like, what is it, 40 times? But even just try consciously chewing your food for 25 times, and you'll see that you don't get as hungry because you're eating, and as you're chewing, and it takes time, and then all the mechanisms that Dennis explained, then all of a sudden you feel more full and you don't eat as much. So that's just little things like that we learned tonight for sure. We also learned, make sure that when you go in your cupboard, just check the back of the label. Manufacturers have to, by law in Canada, put the ingredients, and if there's added sugar in it, so there's added sugar, that you'll see the sugar, even if it's not added, but you'll see the content. But the most important thing is that ingredients label, because the ingredients are always listed in priority.
Okay.
So if sugar is the first or second ingredient, it's probably not a good thing to be eating. Now, again, like Dennis says, it's great to have a dessert and enjoy life and all that, but it's really the lifestyle changes, slow and moderate lifestyle changes, that make a huge difference. One of the best things I've ever heard was, if someone ate one Big Mac and died of a heart attack, they never do it. It's the cumulative effect of eating that it's over time, that we're constantly bombarding our bodies with all these different things. Is that right, Dennis?
Yeah.
So on the average, how long does a person chew their food then, right? I mean, I know you're saying 20, 25, 30, 40 times or whatever.
Yeah.
A lot of people are going to say, I don't have time for that.
Well, that's the problem, right?
Yeah.
We are just go society, and that in itself is causing our mindset more anxious and anxiety. And so you should be chewing 20 times at least. Make a habit of, if you haven't done that, make a habit of counting it. And after a while, you understand and your body become used to it. You don't have to count it after a while. Just make sure that you take time to chew. If you in your mouth, the food, you still feel the big chunks of it, don't swallow it. Right? Supposed to be baby food by the time we're ready to swallow.
I'm telling you, that's not going to happen at my table.
No. Try it.
Well,
Try
we
it.
gotta
I can sit
comment.
there and try it, because you know what would happen? My wife will sit there and say, "Are you chewing gum or something? You ready to blow a bubble or something like that? Swallow, swallow your food."
No.
Oh yes, she will. Oh, yes, she will.
Okay, we need to have a coffee time together and chat.
I would love to have it, but I'm telling you,
Just try it once. It's kind of interesting. I tried it a few times, and it's just fun.
but for me, okay, maybe I'm not sitting there chewing my food like 25, 30, 40 times or whatever, but I take my time when I'm eating, right?
Right.
My
Yeah.
wife will eat and she's already gone and stuff like this, and I'm still eating, and I'm either reading something or watching TV or something like that. She'll look at me and says, "You're not done yet?" And you say, "You've been sitting there for almost 45 minutes, right?" But I know I don't chew my food that many times. So when I chew it, I get it. I'm chewing it, and like you said, there's a
Yeah.
chunk you still feel in there. I'll bite it
Yeah.
maybe once or twice. And I'm
Exactly.
going to swallow it.
Yeah. So
Oh,
I'm telling you, try chewing it for like, say, at least 15.
yeah.
I'm giving you a little bit of
All right,
five
You give me some.
five
You
extra,
give me some. You give me some leeway to chew just 15 times.
exactly.
You know what?
Yeah,
I
and
don't
then
even think I'm going to make it to 15.
We'll
because
get back to us on the next
with
one.
that, what happened is that your body get better chance of getting more nutrients out of your food,
I
and
see.
you will
Okay.
feel the energy and focus better.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
We
I'm going to
convinced
try
you.
it.
Humor me.
And our in our next podcast, I'm gonna tell you exactly,
Yeah.
okay, what
Yeah.
I did, right?
Perfect.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm gonna
absolutely.
chew it,
It's a
yeah.
it's a mindset, and it's a great lead in. I wanted to do next podcast consistency and mindset because
Okay.
Willard, you being a professional athlete, you know a lot about that.
I know about the
I'm
mindset, but
telling
then
you, yeah, I'm telling you. So we're gonna talk about that next time.
but
Perfect.
when a professional athlete is sitting at a table and you got this nice spread of food and all kinds of things there, you want to taste everything. You don't,
Yeah,
like, and we don't have time. We don't have a lot of time. When I was
right.
a professional athlete, our
Yeah,
training table, we come in,
yeah,
we eat. We
yeah,
have to get to meetings and stuff like this. So
yeah,
if every single athlete sitting in that room, chewed their food 20,
and
25, 30 times or something like this, we're gonna miss our meeting. We're gonna get fined for it, right? So
right, right. And that's the wrong way of training you guys because when you're actually practicing the thing in the field, you keep repeating until this is set in stone in your mind,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But the same idea that you gotta anyway.
It's not the it's
That's
not the
another
same
talk.
idea. Exactly.
They gotta train.
That's
I
another talk. Definitely, we're gonna do the mindset
We'll
thing.
do the next one.
Yeah.
yeah.
As usual, we're definitely open to questions. If anybody has any questions, it's a good opportunity to do that, and we'll continue chatting. But
Yeah.
if there's
There's
any
a
questions,
comment from Robert Lucy. Yeah, absolutely. There's two completely different group of people out there, and again, it's a mindset. People that trying to be healthy and trying to consciously eat properly, etc., compared to people that you know it doesn't care. Sugar, carb, and they just eat. And some of the reason I get from some of the people is, oh, to eat healthy is too expensive. I can just go to McDonald's and grab this and only this much. Well, I have a current patient that just finished my 12 weeks program, and she was grown up eating fast food to the point that when she came to me 4 or 5 months ago, she had an autoimmune thyroiditis. And I trained her to eat properly, and she started cooking and all of that. Her inflammation went away, her PMS symptom went away,
Oh,
her sleep improved, her focus improved. And now we're trying to get her to get the stress level better, trying to get her to get the better sugar and insulin response.
hmm,
And she actually lost weight too. And she was surprised that, like, when we started it, the only thing she told me was thyroid issue and energy. And that's all I was aiming for, changing her menu plan, etc., to cook at home, what to eat, what not to eat. And then she started telling me, saying, you know what, for PMS, a week or two before, I'm literally in pain, and the week off, I'm in bed. I can't get out. But now I'm only on this way of eating and etc. 4 weeks, and my period, I don't have pain. I don't even have a cramp. What the heck's going on? I'm like, well, your body's healing and balancing. So, it's very interesting.
you see the other question we have here about, and a lot of people are doing this, right? They're using oat milk instead of, there's no added sugar. Well, you can buy different oat milks, but the one with no added sugar. It says that there's 6 grams of sugar in a cup, but it comes from the breakdown of the oats, right? So is the person fooling themselves, thinking they're drinking something that's good for me?
Well, sugar is sugar. You have to look at the amount. So 6 gram, which is roughly a little bit over a teaspoon.
Yeah.
So you then put less oat milk instead of the whole cup, right? And for coffee, we don't put the whole cup,
No.
just a teaspoon or two type of thing. So in this way, then that's better. I've seen people, friends that when I was in school, that will put 2 heaping spoonful of sugar into a cup of coffee, 6-ounce cup of coffee. That's how they drink coffee. I said, you're not drinking coffee, you're drinking sugar.
Thinking it's something healthy. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, sugar is sugar. Obviously, if there's no added sugar, it's always better, right? But you just got to be very careful because milk has a lot of sugar in it too, right?
Yeah.
If you look at the ingredients. Do you want to just read the other question, Dennis?
Sure. Well, there's a comment also from Vanna. She said, yeah, it's a great example for discussion tonight. They do almost everything that what we were talking about, and with the self-discipline, eating properly, and her 2 daughters who have an autoimmune disease, and they change the eating habit and stuff, so things are improving. So, that's the thing. It's like mindset, be intentional.
Yeah.
And you have to do everything, be intentional. Before you do anything, I tell people that take a deep breath, 3 to 5 breaths, and then look at it again. Should I be eating this? Should I be doing that? Should I be saying this? Right? Always be conscious. So the next question is, what would you recommend to people that have a busy schedule and are always on the go, who tend to go for quick and easy high sugar snack due to convenience? What could they do to replace these? Great question. I'm going to use myself as an example. Especially this Monday, I have 1 staff away on vacation. So I'm 1 staff short already. Monday, one of my staff texted me and said, I'm throwing up and I'm having major stomach pain. I can come in. So Monday is my busy day. I got 2 staff short. I'm running around, going crazy. My lunch, it's a scoop of protein and green and 240 ml of water. Shake it, chug it down. Within 5 minutes, I'm done my lunch. Went back to work. So those are the kind of things that you have to look at and you have to do. And making sure that when you choose the protein powder product, read the label. Again, I've seen protein powder that has 29 grams of sugar in a serving. You're defeating the purpose.
I see what Robert is mentioning on here as well with his question about the interesting narrative terms of health, where 0 calories and 0 sugar products and becoming more and more popular with a group that is trying to become healthier. On the other hand, obesity rates continue to grow in major countries such as Canada, the United States, and the UK. Yeah, he's right.
And that's what,
completely different groups. Yeah.
That's what we're talking about, right? 0 calorie, 0 sugar stuff. They use these artificial sweetener that actually creating hunger hormones, producing more ghrelin and causing leptin resistant. So our brain never feel full. So, I don't want to eat even though I'm hungry, but I'm going to drink 0 calorie drink because it's 0 calorie and the liquid and the taste going to make me full. But meantime, they're loading up more and more and more, issue with the inflammation and insulin resistant and all of that.
Okay. So sorry. Go ahead, Norm.
No, go. It's one of the biggest things that I remember there's a bunch of low-fat products out there, right?
Okay.
A bunch of low-fat products. But then you look at the back, and what they did is they took the fat out, they put the sugar up to make the taste better, right? And this is what Robert's touching on is like, are we what's happening here? Like, why are we gaining weight? We have these low sugar
Right.
and low fat products, but they're jamming sugar in a whole bunch of things in these products. And like Dennis touched on, the diet aisles, when you go down there, you can see it, and it doesn't work. Diet drinks
Yeah.
don't work to lose weight. It's the
Yeah.
opposite, right?
Does the government regulate a lot of this in terms of what they can and what they cannot do in terms of adding sugar to certain to all the products? Really, everything seems like you see that has a label has sugar or something in there.
No. The
There's
only
none
thing
at all.
government does is that they have to list what's in it.
But yes, I
And
know that
yeah,
Canada has
and
to do
so
that as well. Yeah.
so initially when high fructose corn syrup came in, nobody knew anything about it until we started seeing these inflammation, whatever. So they don't want to list it, even though they have to list it. So they now changed the name, converted sugar, corn syrup. All of them are high fructose corn syrup. And so I wanted to kind of follow up on what Norm said about, low fat diet, high sugar.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the same idea, a lot of people are now aware of gluten sensitivities and gluten causing inflammation and gut issue and stuff. So there is a major market for gluten-free product. You really, really, really have to read the label.
Hmm.
More than 50% of the gluten-free products are high sugar. So instead of using wheat flour, they're using potato flours, tapioca
Potatoes.
flours, rice flours. All of those give you very simple, because they process it, that now becomes simple sugar. So it's a loaf of sugar when you buy a loaf of gluten-free bread, unless you really read the label
Wow.
and sugar content. So that's just sort of the sidebar. Apart from, low fat, high sugar, low gluten, high sugar, it's still inflammation.
Yeah, very shocking, to
Yeah.
say the least.
Well,
Wow.
that's why I stopped eating at the fast food restaurant and stuff. I used to be, McDonald's was my lunch, and Kentucky Fried Chicken was my lunch, because it's quick.
Right.
I don't have time, right? I can go to drive through my store, one of my pharmacy. Well, we love you being there. Across the street, there's Dairy Queen.
Oh
I
yeah.
can go there and have Dairy Queen every day, and I used to,
Yeah.
and I got sick. So, that's why my lunch is protein shake.
Yes.
I don't have time. It's fast. Protein and green. I got my 17 gram of protein, and I got 5 gram of greens in there. I'm good.
Right.
So,
Absolutely. Oh, this is fantastic. If there's any more questions, please put it in the chat. And is there any closing remarks, Dennis Willard?
well, everything is moderation, right? So I'm not saying don't eat sugar, but eat moderately. Say, like American Heart Association said, the whole day for a woman, roughly from food and everything, 6 to 7 teaspoons of sugar. That's 30 to 35 grams of sugar, which is, they said, roughly 100 calories. For male, it's 150 calories, or about 9 teaspoons of sugar, give and take. Everybody is different. That sort of, give you some ideas of where you should stay with that type of thing. And trying to get sugar from more complex carbohydrate like vegetables, fruit, and then pair it with enough protein. I've said it last time, protein is the building block for our whole body, not just the muscle. People think protein, I'm going to eat protein to build muscle. Protein also produce all the brain neurochemical.
Mhm.
Serotonin, dopamine, GABA, glutamate, all 4 brain neurochemical has to be balanced. And if you don't have enough protein, you're not going to have production. And then vegetables, because minerals, vitamins and minerals from vegetables fuel the enzyme that make protein into these brain chemical and build the muscle and produce energy, all of that. And then you can add, here and there a little bit of bread, pasta, when people trying to lose weight with me, I tell them that one slice of bread or one serving of pasta a day, that's it.
Okay.
Oh, you know, for me, I mean, it's a double-edged sword if you look at it. I'm glad we had this conversation because I had no idea that sugar was actually that bad for you, right? And for me, as an athlete, getting out there, running, still working out and stuff like this, I feel I need that energy from the sugar. And of course, my thinking about that is the fact is that sugar is actually not the one that I really need, right? I need to be building up on a lot of other stuff,
Yeah.
such as proteins and things of that nature, which I do. Um, I'm enjoying this talk. This is really,
Yeah.
this is an eye opener. It truly is. So, um, you know,
Yeah.
let's keep talking about this. This is
Absolutely.
very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. And we have our next topic already. It's consistency and mindset, Dennis.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I watched one of the Willards interview on one of the podcasts, and I'm like, we gotta talk about it. Absolutely. So
Yes.
yeah. So until then, have a great evening. And when you're eating, looking at the food, read the label. Not saying don't eat it, but be mindful of it and be cautious and be intentional.
Excellent. Good night,
Chew
everyone.
longer. Chew longer.
Too longer. Yeah. Good night,
right.
everybody.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.